And so here I find myself in August of 2019 in a very, very bad situation. Okay, the dog pile includes Wells Fargo, the local police who have committed crimes against me. This hospital is in the mix, and man, I mean, now the thing is this whole time I've been collecting evidence and building up evidence for what has happened. So I've got the recorded call with Shirley. I've got my text messages with my manager Courtney, where I asked her for help, and she just mostly just bullshits and lies. But I can document her stuff, her explanations, and show what she gives away. And so I'm building a case, and of course, my hospital knows that I've got a case, which it knows I'm in the Atrium Health fraud zip file, and my complaint of the evidence, the Atrium Health fraud. You will see that I've got extra Atrium Health calls. You'll just see there that they're sweating bullets when I'm talking to them. They seem like they're mad at me. And the one girl, she changes her goal. First, she wants to find out what on earth is going on with this phone number supposedly being in my chart. And then her goal changes on a subsequent call to she just wants to make sure it's not there anymore. You'll just see if you go to those Atrium Health fraud, those extra calls, if you care to listen to those. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But you can see the suspect nature of those. And so as I'm gathering evidence and building a case, I do some things. One is I contact my psychologist from the mountains named John Mongio, who was my psychologist when I lived in the mountains, who was a very, very brilliant, very, very kind-hearted, caring man. That I knew that he had the competency to see what was happening. I needed his help. I needed him to intervene in this civil commitment process so that I can be interviewed, I can be evaluated by him instead of one of these doctors around here that are involved in all this crime. That I'm basically a liability for them. They're going to prison over what they've done to me. I don't need these people being these people's prisoner at will. And I had him write me. He wrote me some letters for my bankruptcy. I ended up in January of 2020. I ended up in a bankruptcy case, starting I had to file a bankruptcy petition for Chapter 7. And then the other thing that I do is around January 2020, I reach out to the LA Times. I contact their Signal chat line. Now on the LA Times, they got this Signal line, and I did something very, very foolish. I thought that what are actually received receipts were read receipts. So I thought that they were manning my messages, and I feel stupid about this, but I thought they were manning my 24 hours a day. And so I'm just sending them message after message. I've told the LA Times my whole life story. I've told about all my crimes, all the crimes. I sent them all of my evidence. The LA Times and their Signal line, they've got in excess of probably 15, 18, 20,000 messages sitting there that I have sent them. I eventually figured out that these received receipts are not read receipts, but I thought, well, if they didn't want them, they would be blocking me by now. And it didn't look like I was blocked. But I contacted the LA Times, and then in March of 2020, I start writing a complaint for the United States Department of Justice. And actually, it was actually in January 2020 so I started writing my complaint as well. And I had a little bit of a few pages, about 9 pages worth of complaint in March of 2020, and I sent it to the United States Department of Justice Criminal Division. And they said that my complaint needed to be more detailed, or they couldn't investigate Wells Fargo without a more detailed complaint. I also submitted a complaint to Health and Human Services and the North Carolina Attorney General. Health and Human Services, they got their OCR, Office of Civil Rights, that does investigations for HIPAA violations. And HHS turned me down as well. And so what I do is I spend the next 7 months on and off, and I'm having very, very bad traumatic stress symptoms. I'm pacing the floor all day. I'm in horrific shell shock. But as I have time, I'm working on a revised complaint that is very, very, very detailed, which is the complaint that's in the description here. That's the complaint that I sent them. And I sent it in October of 2020. And nothing happens for a few months. Then all of a sudden, I've got these. I started having legit fitness models IMing me on Facebook. And these girls, at least the first one, and probably the second one too, I would say, but especially the first one, behave as if they're getting paid a fortune to be my girlfriend. And so what I'm thinking here is, I've sent them this complaint that tells about my painful life story of not having never had a girlfriend in the mountains because of all the stigmatization about my mental health condition. And so here they're like, here, this is a way to do this without tanking the economy. We'll get this guy a girlfriend. And I was very happy. Now at first I was hurt by this though. It felt like that they were trying to demean me a little bit. That here they're saying I can't get a girlfriend, so they're getting a girlfriend for me. Now in my books, the reason I can't get a girlfriend is because all this stuff is said about me, not because I'm incompetent or anything like that. Then the other thing is I first perceived this girl as to being a gold digger, that she's going to win the lottery by being my girlfriend. She doesn't really like me, doesn't really care about me. But then over time I figure out she's a good person with good motives, and I'm really happy. I inundate the DOJ with communications starting around I don't know, March or April of 2020. I'm sorry, March or April of 2021. It's in December 2020 this model contacts me. But this model would kind of give me hints of what I need to do, and she wanted me to get a brain scan. And I eventually got this brain scan, and what this brain scan, they wanted a brain scan to rule out alternate causes for my PTSD. That's what I deduced that Wells Fargo wanted. And when I get this brain scan, they rule out alternate causes, and then nothing happens. Okay, so whatever this girl was, I don't know if she's a scam, or if they were originally going to give me this girl, and then they took her away. And of course they would have paid her a lot of money and gave us a nice life. She's going to have a lot of money to go and be with me. I'm not pretty. I'm broke. I'm disabled. It's not like she's going to come and be my girlfriend for free. And I think what it was is because I eventually told them that, hey, the LA Times hasn't really listened to a single message I've sent them, that I've been sitting here talking to nobody, that these people seem very, very motivated by their own interest, and they seem very, very ruthless, cold-blooded, and kind of selfish and cold-hearted. That's both Wells Fargo and the DOJ. Now I'll get into the DOJ in the next video and talk about their role in this.